1% of dudes rapping, they ain't nice as me. 98% ain't live the same type of life as me. The judge gave me life and then they sent me where the life is be. That level 4 with depth and vice, the type of stuff they like to see. Two choices, fight or flee. I refuse to die a chump. I never been a mark, but damn, it's scary when that riot jump. I seen dudes cry, get pumped, and some sexually brutalized. Knew a dude who lost his life and he was only doing 5 year-long racial fights when homie all you do is ride. Lonely days and nights up in a hole causing suicide. From the moment you arrive, you see the Mexican mafia, AB skinheads with big giant swastikas, pro-black philosophers, the BGF, the Kumi, and Muslims who will murk you from the nation to the Sunni. That MS was loony, quick to ride up on they rival. Even Christians went to church, hide knives up in a Bible. Political and tribal, the Crips and Damus, the Long Beach, the Hubs and the Dubs and the Grooves, the IE, the Bakersfield, the Dago Pyrus, the hustlers quick to roll, the gangsters gon' move. Whatever click you choose, you better
Say what's cracking, YouTube? It's your boy 16 to life, and I'm back like I'm on a parole violation. Yard down! Now, for those of y'all that's new to my page, in 1994, I got arrested. I was eventually sentenced to 16 years plus life, and I served 24 years straight in the California prison system. So in this particular video, I'm going to react to Dubs reacting to the video of a person who done some federal time, I believe, and he's saying that blacks are scared of Mexicans. So let's get into this video right here, you know.
New video. So I was sent this clip, and this is a guy, I don't know what state he's in. I don't know what state he's from, but he's going to explain that he's done over 20 years in the federal system. And he's going to give his point of view on dealing with Mexicans while incarcerated. I feel this is very interesting. And I'm sure people will be mad at me for what he said, but I'm going to react to it, and let's get to it.
Homie had a deep conversation. I said, man, only people that go against each other is the black gangs. Now, I can't speak what's going on the streets of the location, even in the joint. We only have problem with each other. We are afraid of the Latino and Mexican gangs. We can say what we want. There's going to be some dudes on here that don't argue all day long with me. But I was in the joint. I did almost 20 years straight in the feds.
Again, this man is speaking from 20 years of experience in the federal system. I was never in the federal system. But he's going to say some things that are key, and that's where I'm going to focus some energy on.
Now, if I can keep it 100 as I always do, no, I wasn't mad at Dubs for reacting to a video, and I wasn't mad at Dubs for what this individual said. What I didn't understand is why Dubs chose to even react to this video, because what he's saying has no bearing on California prisons, right? This dude is talking about things that's going on in federal prisons by convicts who are not even from California. So while I wasn't mad at Dubs for reacting to the video, I did feel like Dubs found somebody that said something that he's been wanting to say all this time and just never said it, right? And that's just my honest feeling.
That go from the penitentiary to the medium highs. And one thing about it, when the MAs come, the Mexicans come, the brothers try to get out of the way.
So once again, of course, you know, I'm not upset with Dubs for what comes out of this man's mouth. But once again, this dude is talking about what goes on in the federal system. The federal system, to my understanding, is very different from the state system. You have a lot of dudes coming together depending on what states they're from. You know, case in point, I can go get several videos by Southern Hispanics who will say things that are contrary to the narrative that's put out there about Southern Hispanics. And I actually done something similar to that in a video, and you had a lot of Hispanics getting upset, or you had some getting upset saying Chill's trying to make the Southern Hispanics look bad, when I was merely showing a contradiction to the narrative that's put out there by Southern Hispanics from the voice of other Southern Hispanics. So I definitely understand what Dubs is saying about that you will have some people angry about him. So that's why a lot of times when I see videos put out there by Southern Mexicans who speak on things that are contrary to the more popular believed narrative that is put out there by Southern Mexicans, I won't talk about it. I won't mention it. I won't highlight it. First of all, I like to say shout out to a lot of the Mexicans who come to my channel and they say, hey, chill, man, we know that in prison, nobody is scared of nobody. You guys are warriors, so on and so forth. So once again, like I said, I didn't really understand the reason Dubs put out this video because it has nothing to do with what goes on in the California State Prison. And in my opinion, it's racially divisive.
Again, this man is speaking from 20 years of experience in the federal system. I was never in the federal system, but he's going to say some things that are key, and that's where I'm going to focus some energy on.
And that goes from the penitentiary to the medium highs. And one thing about it, when the MAs come, the Mexicans come, the brothers try to get out of the way. You only had so many brothers that would go hard. First thing they're going to say, man, I'm trying to go home, man. I ain't trying to get caught up in that. You only got so many riding and dying, and they're the ones that maybe doing natural life.
Now, also, as I was looking at this video that Dubs put out, and I was scrolling through the comments, I seen somebody who said, yeah, man, Chill confirmed that a lot of blacks have a go home mentality. My response to that is, I don't never recall saying anything like that. And so if you would be kind enough to leave a link to the video in which I said that, right? So, you know, I want to point out something here. I'm going to show you guys a clip from a Southern Hispanic, right? And now throughout the course of this dude's interview, his storytelling, he's telling all his life he had been groomed. He'd been wanting to go to the pen. He was looking to get to prison and make a name for himself. And when he got to prison, he was accepting missions and going on, you know, willing to go on missions and so on and so forth. Then suddenly, when he gets about 9 months to the house and they tell him to go on a mission, now suddenly he doesn't want to go on a mission. He was talking about how he wanted to put his hood on the map, so on and so forth. So now you have your chance. Now suddenly, now you want to go home. Being a husband and a father to your kids is important. So let's just check it out and listen to what this dude has to say.
I started off my term, my second day, already putting in work. Second day in reception, I was already putting in work. Now, fast forwarding, I got 8 months to the pad. I'm about to go home after all this time. So I had like 8, 9 months to the pad. And after all this time I've been doing, all this work I've been doing, all this work I've been putting in, they asked me to go on a holiday, 9 months to the pad. Now, all the time that I've been down, I never once denied a holiday, and if anything, I was always the one that was raising my hand and participating and wanting to do the holiday. But 9 months to the pad, I wasn't having it. I got kids at home expecting me to be a father, and a wife at home expecting me to be a husband, and it's time for me to go home, and I'm not going to do this holiday. So this is my first time. I refused it, and me knowing the consequences of refusing a holiday, there is no refusing holiday where I was. And I ended up locking it up.
My whole point of showing you guys that video is later on through this video, Doug will go on to say that how the Southern Mexicans are expected to perform under certain situations in prison, but expectations and reality is something different. What I'm trying to say here, I'm not trying to point this guy out and make this guy look bad. What I'm trying to say is one thing you cannot remove from any equation is human nature. You're going to have some people who subscribe wholeheartedly in mind, body, and soul to certain ideologies, and you're going to have other people who don't subscribe to that ideology. So my point of pointing out that when this dude had his chance to ride and put on for his homies in his hood, he chose suddenly then to want to be a family man and to go home. And this is what a lot of people fail to realize, that regardless of race, no one can remove human nature from the equation. You may hit a yard, right? And it may be 400 people on that yard that is a part of your collective. You go outside the first day on that yard, you see somebody get stabbed and tore up. The next day, somebody comes to you who is a part of your collective and say, hey, man, put this white rag in your pocket, or we are going to tear you up. You know, we rock a white rag, and that's what you have to do. 99.9% of people will put that white rag in their pocket because they don't want to be physically crucified and barbecued on that yard, especially due to the demo he just saw put down the day before. But that doesn't mean he will accept wholeheartedly an ideology and move as he's expected to move. And that's my point right there.
But the MAs, we are scared of them. We are afraid of all of them.
And I'm going to talk about, that's what I want to talk about right there. I did a video about this, not black fear, but why I believe Southern Raza and then Raza period are more dominant in prison in California, in the state system.
And so once again, Dubs mentions California and the state system. This dude is talking about being in the federal system. So no telling where this dude is from. Later on in the video, he mentions something about dudes from Texas, Ohio, Kansas City, so on and so forth, right? And I'm taking nothing away from those dudes, man. But dudes from California, gang members from California are built different, man. Those dudes are different. It's a different dynamics when you come to California, right? Let me give you an example. Now, for those who have been keeping up with my story on YouTube, so on and so forth, you guys know that in 1989, I went to Billings, Montana. I was out there 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, so on and so forth. So are you trying to tell me that in 1989, Billings, Montana was producing the same type of Mexicans that California was producing in terms of gang mentality, willingness to ride, being a soldier, representing their hood? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Because that's basically what this dude is saying, man. This dude is saying that these other dudes who weren't from California were scared of the Mexicans. And that may be true. That may be his personal experience, right? But if you're not speaking on California dudes, then what is the point of Dubs showing this video? So to me, like I said, once again, Dubs has found someone who is saying something that he's been wanting to say, but he'll let this other dude say it.
Okay. And Cartoon 5 Trey, he did a response video, and he never said blacks are scared. I'm not going to say blacks are scared. I'm not going to say that. But the reality is, when Raza move, every single one of them is expected to move with a weapon and use that weapon.
Once again, I will say that expectations and reality is extremely different. Dubs himself told a story, I believe, that when he was in the Bay, somebody from his area happened to hit the yard. Dubs went and talked to him, asked the dude if you wanted a knife. The dude told Dubs he didn't need a knife, that he had hands. He was good with his hands. Dubs go on to tell the dude, okay, well, listen, man, when something jumps off, if you don't have a knife, you're going to get in trouble for it. Something like that. And I'm paraphrasing. So now let's say later on, due to the circumstances and the generally accepted ideology about the Southern Mexicans on that yard, let's just say that this dude did take a knife when initially he clearly didn't want the knife. So upon him taking the knife, is he going to go up there on it when a riot jumps off on a yard and put in work wholeheartedly with that knife? Or is he going to run around trying to pretend like he's getting busy, drop that knife and just fight with his hands? So what I'm saying is expectations and reality is different.
I told a story years ago about a handball court, and I was in the discussion, me and a Kumi. Somebody assigned this dude to speak for the Kumis. The Kumis assigned someone for me to engage with verbally. We had a conversation, and he spoke from a place of arrogance and ignorance because he said, y'all ain't got the numbers anyways. At the time, there was probably 120 of us, 120 Southerners on the yard. There was probably 500 blacks, right? So he said, y'all ain't got the numbers anyways. And I said, you believe that? And he says, yeah. I said, well, there's about 100 of us on the yard right now. 100 of us are going to bring out knives. I said, there's probably 500 of you guys on the yard. maybe 100 you guys bring out knives. I said, numbers are equal. I said, you want to do this? We could do this. I don't know what message he took back, but the issue died.
Now, I'm not going to disagree with anything Dub said there. You definitely have a larger number of Mexicans who are willing to use knives in prison than you do blacks, right? Though let's keep in mind, we're talking opinions. At the start of the video, Dubs was saying how this dude here is going to give his opinion. There are many who are of the opinion that if the Mexicans in this situation would have had 500 on the yard and the blacks would have only had 120 people on the yard, they definitely would have took off. You know, it is the opinion of many that the Southern Mexicans are more aggressive, more volatile when they have their opponent outnumbered. Now, of course, you will have some disagree with that as well, right? But I have encountered many blacks who have held that opinion. So what was it like on AR? So that was your first riot? That was your first riot?
No, that's my first riot in prison.
In prison, right.
Now, I had many riots in the county jail because that's what we do.
Yeah.
You know, that's when they separate the blacks and the Mexicans in the county jail in 93. They you know, I had on $1 million road, we had a riot, you know what I'm saying, over some craziness right there. And then we had another riot when we hit Max. I went to Super Max, all that stuff. And, you know, we had riots. You know, we start separating the blacks from the Mexicans in court and all that stuff. So yeah, there's many county jail riots. It came to norm.
Right. So in the county jail, are the blacks always extremely outnumbered too, or?
It depends, cause we're gonna put it out there, y'all. When the Mexicans don't got the numbers, they don't want no problem. When the Mexicans got more Mexicans inside the dorm, they want to. That's our showers. That's our phone. You know, at first it was cool, but now no. Then the Mexicans phone. No, then the Mexican shop. Wait a minute, cause y'all a little bit more. You know, you got 30 more people than us. Y'all acting like that.
Actually, I interviewed several, and in many cases, when they would point things out like that, I would just choose to eliminate those things from the video because I don't want to include things that I know is going to be racially divisive, whether it's true or not. You know, I've actually even heard Gunner himself say that the Southern Hispanics are more prone to violence when they outnumber their opponent, right? And some people would just say, oh, well, chill, you know, you're just saying that because you're black, so on and so forth. You know, Gunner's word don't count. But my show is watched and viewed by many people, from convicts, guards, former guards as well. And many former guards have reached out to me and shared that same opinion that Hispanics are more aggressive when they have the numbers. From time to time, I still will listen to prison shows, especially when I'm in a car and I'm taking a long drive. I'll turn something on that I'm interested in and I'll listen to it. But due to the fact that I've done a lot of time, 24 years straight, sometimes I listen differently, or I may hear things that the average person who has not been to prison will not pay attention to or will not catch. And so when I hear these things, once again, that are contrary to the more popular believed narrative about Southern Mexicans, it sticks with me, right? Actually, I'm sure many of you guys are familiar with the show That Prison Guard by a former lieutenant. He is also a Mexican. He is also a Mexican who grew up in what is known as Southern California. And he said the same thing.
But I already told you, man, when the Sureños got the numbers, which they do got the numbers. Well, I'm going to tell you about my misconception right now. They be getting froggy, right? They be getting froggy. So imagine if you got like 20 homies and one's drunk, and then you're all drunk, you're going to challenge somebody to a fight. Motherfucker, let's do a one-on-one fisticuffs, right? I know what you're thinking. Yeah, there are some that will do a one-on-one with you. You're missing the point, right? You put a lot together, they get emboldened.
And once again, that's coming from a former prison guard, a former lieutenant to be exact, and he's speaking on his experience. And so in Dub's words, don't get upset with me when I share the opinion of someone else.
So this has been a thing that's been known amongst the population in California prisons, is there are blacks that are very dangerous. There are blacks that will use a weapon. However, they're not the same as far as when it's time to roll. Every single one of them is going to bring a knife out and use it. And that's what you hear out of this man right now. He's saying the same thing, and it's not that they're punks. They'll get down with somebody, but when it comes to bringing that steel out, it's a different thing.
Games. We can talk stuff. DC got to go against Ohio Black. DC got to go against Chicago. Chicago got to go against New York. But when it come down to Mexican, ain't nobody rolling against them. Because you know, when them 7-8 soldiers come, them 7-8 soldiers come to put in the work. And you might have 2 or 3 blacks that are willing to go all the way.
And once again, like I said, I don't even know who this individual is. I don't know where this dude is from. He said he's done about 20 years straight. He appears to be in his mid to his late 40s. So I don't know during what time he even served his prison time, right? Nowadays, due to social media, due to also gang members venturing out, you do have cities now who are definitely catching up in the gang culture, right? But once again, being from California, especially back in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s, it breeded a different type of gang member. And notice when he named all these different cities and states, he didn't mention California.
I don't know. I can't. He's speaking for himself and maybe people who he's had open conversations with in the feds. The feds are different than the state. I'm not gonna co-sign that blacks are afraid of Mexicans. I do agree with what he's saying that blacks know when the Mexicans are going to move, they're going to come with straps. They're coming with knives, and they're not afraid of the gunners. The cops are not even on their mind.
I definitely believe that there are just more blacks who are willing to talk freely about the negative things that go on in the black cars than you will have Southern Mexicans who are willing to get out there and air out the quote unquote dirty laundry or the negative things that they feel are prevalent with the Southern car, right? And so, of course, like when you have more people that's willing to speak, you are definitely going to hear more negative things. And so, once again, when me and Dubs both have prison shows based about the activities that go on in the California prisons, and this dude was not speaking about California prisons, I didn't really see the reason for Dub reacting to the video.
There's going to be a lot of blacks that are going to be mad at me for reacting to this, and that's fine. I didn't say, and I don't believe that all blacks are extremely afraid or even afraid, period. I think it's just a different mindset. I don't know the black mindset, and maybe Cartoon Chill from 16 to Life, Hoodie from the Hood, maybe they could do a video and they can say how blacks are raised in the hood, as far as is it part of their program where they have an understanding at a very young age they're gonna go to the joint and they're gonna put in work, or is that just not thought of until they start going to jail?
And so, in my opinion, a lot of times you don't have blacks who are scared of Mexicans per se, to be honest, right? I've been around a lot of times when certain things happen on the yard and blacks wanted to take off, right? Especially the younger blacks. But you would have some older blacks say, hold on, man, kick back, man. Are you guys ready? It's not, you're not just to run out there and have a one-on-one fight with a Mexican. Are you ready for the uniformity of their structure, right? And so, like I said before, anybody that's done a significant amount of time in prison who knows how the Southern Mexicans are coming, you must respect their unity and their structure. And me, myself, of course, being a person who took my survival serious, you had to give them their respect, right? I've spoke freely about things that I feel are a detriment to the blacks. Okay, so let me give you an example, right? You got 2 problems going on in your house today. First and foremost, your Wi-Fi is not working. The second problem you have is there's a small fire in your kitchen. So which one do you handle first? The Wi-Fi, right? No, dummy, you handle the small fire before it turns into a big fire. And that is something that is a detriment of the blacks, right? Even though we see what's going on in prison, we can look around us and see that now this has turned from a Crip and blood war or a Crip on Crip war like things were on the street to a racial war. for whatever reason, the blacks have still not had the intelligence and the wisdom to put those things to the side and come together as a unit in order to protect their race. The Southern Rasa has done that, right? So anybody with any type of common sense, you have to give respect to the Southern Rasa. But like I said, once again, you have individuals who are going to respect the structure and the unity of the Southern Rasa, right? Dubs, he just asked, okay, so let's ask Chill or Hoodie from the Hood or whoever how the blacks are raised. Like I say, a lot of times I'll have interviews. Blacks will say things in my interview that I believe sometimes are racially divisive, and I'll just eliminate that from my video, right? But now, Dubs, if we're going to go with people's opinions, you can't just accept and like the opinions of people because their opinion tends to coincide with what you want to hear or what you prefer. And to keep it 100, I've heard many blacks in prison who have this same sentiment when it comes to whites and Hispanics, that we believe that we can whoop 2 or 3 of them easy. So
we're gonna put it out there, y'all. When the Mexicans don't got the numbers, they don't want no problem. When the Mexicans got more Mexicans inside the dorm, they want to. That's our showers. That's our phone. You know, at first it was cool, but now no. Then the Mexicans phone, no. Then the Mexican shop. Wait a minute, cause y'all a little bit more. You know, you got 30 more people than us. Y'all acting like that.
So you saying they don't push that line all the time?
No, cause when they show up, they nice and respectful, no problem, and good understanding.
Right.
But as soon as the people start coming in, they start looking around, seeing that the brothers is, like the dorm I was in one time was like 70 to 30. 30 brothers and 80, 90 Mexicans.
Right.
And so you know how that kind of dynamic we have, like, everything is like they want a problem because they know they got the numbers, but they don't know it's a rule in prison that Mexicans can't fight blacks head up. So because they know a brother could take 4 or 5 Mexicans down easily.
Right.
It's what it is. It's how it been from day one. Like I said, I could take 3 of y'all. Y'all can't fight anyway. They don't got no squabbles. So we hit you, go to the next one.
Yeah.
Knock you, hit you. You gonna have them. They gonna run. So yeah. It happens like that a lot in the county jail.
Right. For those of you guys who keep current with my page, some of you may recognize and see that I interviewed this brother 2 or 3 years ago. I intentionally chose not to show this interview in the past, even though he is welcome to his opinion. It has always been my thinking where I am not trying to cause any more racial disharmony. Some people may ask, well, if that is the case, why are you showing it now? Because Dubs asked about the indoctrination sometimes that goes on with and among blacks growing up in the hood, especially those from my generation, right? We were taught to believe in our hands, and we were taught to believe that, couldn't no other race whoop us. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to keep it 100 with y'all, right? When I was growing up, I was taught that it was embarrassing to lose to anybody who wasn't black. Now, regardless of what I was taught, we grew up later on to believe that a lot of things were not true. There are people from all walks of life, of all nationalities, who have hands, who can do this, who can do that. So sometimes ignorance and arrogance go hand in hand, and it leads to misinformation being disseminated among a certain collective of people. So once again, in prison, a place where there is definitely strength in numbers, you have to give props to the Southern Hispanics because they have realized that, and they are wise enough to put the smaller issues to the side and unite as one. And to me, in my opinion, for those who do have some trepidations and reservations about getting into conflicts with the Southern Hispanics, it's not a Mexican per se. It is the structure. It is the uniformity, right? Structure is basically a type of warfare that definitely has a psychological or affects the psyche of the opponent who is opposing when he sees people who are moving in unison. This is the very reason why CDC, the administration, does not want anyone of any race to exercise in groups of more than 3. They want to break up that unity. You know, have you ever seen a group of individuals? And let's just give an example of the COs or the police department or the army. When they formation come out there may be 70 or 80 of them, and they will start off with, for instance, let's say their left foot. They'll step with their left foot. They're all moving in unison. They may start off stepping with their left foot. They will bang the bottom of their rifle on the ground with their right foot. So, of course, it shows for whoever is watching and whoever may be having to go up against this group that they are uniformed, they are trained, they are together. And so, of course, like I said earlier, for those who may have fear, it is not fear of the Mexicans per se, it is fear of the structure. And once again, I tip my hat to the Southern Mexicans because they have the intelligence to put the smaller things to the side, right? So we should all know by now that sometimes when you tune in to these California prison shows, you may hear some things that you don't like. Inside these California prisons, there are racists, there are racial attitudes, there are racial activities going on, and sometimes things get racial. Everybody who goes to these California prisons are not racist. Sometimes people do what they have to do to survive. Man, so with that being said, you already know what time it is. It's your boy 16 to life. Resume normal program.
I swear to God, the game is cold, homie.
What you mean?
I popped on a pussy ass nigga, after he stole on me.
What happened next?
That nigga came to court and told on me.
Put that on something.
I sold my soul, homie. Called the highway patrol on me, plus the sheriffs and cops. He told him my name was Eric and I carried a Glock. Soon as you start blowing shots, them niggas going to jail. Don't have a meeting with the cops and then you going to jail. They'll tell him about the shooting, take him, show him his well. DA trying to see your cash, they gon' throw him the nails. They wanna throw me up in the cell and have me with a L again. Back to strip searchers and guards, read my mail again. Had me far away in the bay, I'm talking Pelican. Eating cold ass soy burgers and warm gelatin. I'm far too intelligent to fall for that twice. Niggas yelling gang gang and ain't about that life. And they'll turn that right in front of your face. Get you found guilty plus 100 years on the case. Your mama in the court with tears running all on her face. Her baby shackled feet, hands and waist. Goddamn, these niggas ain't who they say they is, so beware. Fuck what they sayin', cause these cowards ain't playing fair. They shoot at you, you shoot at them, they snitch, and they don't care. Fuck gang banging, I'd rather be a square. These niggas ain't who they say they is, so beware. Fuck what they sayin', cause these cowards ain't playing fair. They shoot at you, you shoot at them, they snitch, and they don't care. Fuck gang banging, I'd rather be a square. Yeah. Doing life's no joke, I been where the apes been. You ain't really bout that smoke, you a vape pen. Soon as they catch a joke, in the feds or a state pen. That tough guy shit get shed quick like snake skin. Real and fake men can't exist together. I stay down, you turn snitch, so you a bitch forever. Imagine me snitch never, boy, I stuck to the code. You hit the county for a month, you said fuck it and told. Soon as you heard your bitch Nicole was fucking all of your best friend, the news damn near killed you niggas, caved your chest in. You told about the murders that y'all did on the West End. Who was popping the burners and the one who said lesbian. Cooperated then, signed an affidavit. Felt your life was over, nigga, you was trying to save it. So you told on Antoine, LeBron, Brian, and David. Came home and half your hood forgave it. Goddamn, these niggas ain't who they say they is, so beware. Fuck what they sayin', cause these cowards ain't playing fair. They shoot at you, you shoot at them, they snitch, and they don't care. Fuck gang banging, I'd rather be a square. These niggas ain't who they say they is, so beware. Fuck what they sayin', cause these cowards ain't playing fair. They shoot at you, you shoot at them, they snitch, and they don't care. Fuck gang banging, I'd rather be a square. Yeah.